On the night October the 29th in 1982, I took a beautiful young girl's life, Marty Jo Pantanople. I was at home in my bed, and when I heard someone knocking on the door and I didn't know who it was, I grabbed the gun and went to see. And it was her and her boyfriend backed up to the apartment with a pickup truck, wanted all the furniture. And we had an argument. The argument lasted almost 30 minutes. And I wound up and I shot her. I took her life.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Kennedy.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
My name is Lonnie Kennedy, 110432.
All right, that's what I got. Good. Let me acknowledge you have with you there at Angola, you have your niece Amy Jinks and your nephew Kevin Posey. And also, Amy and Kevin will be speaking on your behalf. Also, there is Christy Hosea.
Yes,
on Zoom is Joanna Hosea, and we also have Mr. Myers with the Parole Project. We also have here today on Zoom representing the victim, Terry Pantanople and Rachel Pantanople, both of whom will be speaking at the appropriate time. First, Mr. Kennedy, I'm going to read some identifiers into the record. Let me get to the right page. I apologize. So you're here today. You are seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in East Baton Rouge Parish, May of 1985, to a life sentence for a second-degree murder conviction. Is that information correct?
yes, ma'am.
All right. So before we start our interview process, Mr. Kennedy, we'd like for you to tell us how'd you end up in jail? You know, what'd you do? And you submitted an application to commute your sentence. Why do you think you deserve that?
Yes, ma'am. Well, on the night October the 29th in 1982, I took a beautiful young girl's life, Marty Jo Pantanople. I was at home in my bed, and when I heard someone knocking on the door and I didn't know who it was, I grabbed the gun and went to see. And it was her and her boyfriend backed up to the apartment with a pickup truck, wanted all the furniture. And we had an argument. The argument lasted almost 30 minutes. It was over whether or not she would return home, or when I could see my son, or all the stuff that was in the apartment. And we argued over 30 minutes. And I wound up and I shot her. I took her life.
Okay. So why do you think you deserve to have your sentence commuted?
Well, over these last 40 years, I've become a changed person. When my father died, I realized I felt pain. I needed a change in my life. So I got a GED in 1997 after my father died. And then I tried to get in other classes, which was hard at that time. And I wound up in the last 3 or 4 years, I achieved all these 100 hours, substance abuse, anger management. And right now I'm currently enrolled in victim awareness. I realized I had more victims than just Marty Jo and her family. All those people that were standing up there watching me do what I did, they were victims.
All right. Well, let's like to ask the warden, is there anything you can share about Mr. Kennedy?
He has served 42 years of his sentence. It's for second-degree murder, as you stated. He's housed at our Camp F area, our trustee area in Dorm 4. He works on line 37. He's had a total of 20 DV reports, with the last one being in 2004 for a Rule 11. As stated, he's completed anger management, 100 hours, substance abuse, his GED class as well, and he's currently in victim awareness
Yes, ma'am.
program.
I'm almost finished with it. We had the letter of accountability.
Good. So we're going to hear from the folks who want to speak on your behalf. First, we'll hear from the Parole Project. Mr. Myers.
Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to support Mr. Kennedy in his request. Obviously, the pardon board's function is to consider cases. It's a board of last resort, in essence, because they have the person before you has no other options. And the board is, while everyone has committed a serious crime to be in front of you, the person who committed this crime 20 or 30, and in this case 42 years ago, is to be evaluated for who they are during their incarceration and who they are now. Mr. Kennedy hasn't had a write-up in 21 years. He's worked the same job in the same position for more than 2 decades. He's been a trustee for a significant amount of time. He's still involved in programming. While he takes full responsibility for the actions he committed and the crime he committed, this board is a board of last resort, and to look at the 70-year-old Mr. Kennedy today, as opposed to the 28-year-old he was when he went to prison and committed this crime, just ask this board to consider all those factors and commute his sentence to whatever this board would see fit.
Thank you. Could we hear from the folks there at Angola? First, could we hear from Amy?
Go ahead, you can speak from sitting right there.
I'm really not sure what to say, but we've been coming here ever since he's been here, and you can see over time that he's always been a little different, a little better. And if he does get out, he'll have a place to stay with one of us, and we'll help him adjust back to society if he gets out. But that's all I've got.
Okay, Mr. Hosey?
Yeah, good morning. So like Amy said, me and her both have been coming to see Uncle Lonnie for the last 40 years, I'm assuming, ever since we've been in our teenagers. So we've seen him, we've known him as we were children, and we've known him as an adult now in here. We've watched him grow, I guess. We've talked to different extents about what had happened and what his remorse is about it. And he's definitely a different man than what he was. That being said, he has lots of family support, including who you see here. That's my mother, Joanne, on the Zoom. So he definitely has a lot of family support here, and we're more than willing to help him adjust in any way possible. But as far as where he was from when he was 28 years old to 70, there's not the same man at all. And that's coming from somebody that literally talks to him every month, maybe twice a month. So thank y'all for letting me speak.
Thanks for being there. And yes, I do want to acknowledge Miss Joanna, who wanted to speak today, but because of some recent medical procedures is unable to do so. But wanted to be sure you knew, Lonnie, that she is present and here in favor. We'd like to hear from the opposition now. Could we hear from Rachel Antonoble? Joan? All right, I think we're having trouble connecting with her. Is Terry Pantanople on? You're still on mute, maybe?
Can you hear me now?
I can, thank you.
Thank you. I am Justin Pantanople's wife. He is not with us today. We have been notified of this parole and pardon. And on his behalf, I'm just going to read a letter that we wrote 2 years ago. I don't know if you have it in front of you, that we submitted to this board. And it was his words. And he just wrote, life without parole meant that the man known as Lonnie Kennedy that shot my daughter on October 29th, 1982, would spend his entire life until his death in prison. I can say at 81 years old, I still have that memory. I have the memory of sitting in the hospital next to her bed, her head wrapped and swelling hour by hour until her death. Not a word was spoken, not a movement from her body, as I prayed for some sign of life, some sign that she knew I was there. Mr. Joe Dyer called to ask how I feel about the request, which I understand is for the governor to reduce the terms of Lonnie's conviction sentence, either by decreasing prison time or absolving him of this crime. I have no words for this absurd request. The Louisiana Division of Probation and Parole can conduct their investigation into this offense and make their decision. But let it be known, I am no part and will ever be part of supporting.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, and we do have that in our record, part of the permanent record. Thank you for sharing that with us. Did we get Ms. Rachel Pantinople?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. What would you like us to know?
I would just like to repeat everything that Terry had originally said. At his original sentence was life in prison without the chance of parole, probation, anything. We were robbed of my sister, of her daughter, of my dad's daughter, for life. 40, however many years it's been, 43 years has not brought my sister back. So I don't see why after 43 years, he's going to get his life back. So just the way I feel.
Thank you. And we appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis. Would you answer any questions he has?
How you doing, Mr. Kennedy? I went through your record and read through it several times, and I see you've made a lot of changes. You've done well while you were there.
Yes, sir.
When this happened, were you on drugs, using drugs, or?
Yes, sir, I was. I was an alcoholic. I drank and did drugs almost every day. But since here, I haven't touched drugs in the last 30 years.
At the time of the incident, you were on drugs then?
Yes, sir.
How long had you and your friend been apart?
About 3 years. Oh, no, apart?
No, yeah, you and your girlfriend, how long had y'all been separated?
Only a couple of weeks or so. At one time when we were separated before, I had kidnapped my son. I wanted to be a father. I wanted to raise my son, but I never got the chance because I took her life.
I see. And you took a lot of classes while you've been there?
Yes, sir. I've tried to get in every class I could get in, but like I say, 10 or 15 years ago, it was hard to get in classes. But now it's more, they're more available to you.
Do you see your son now?
Well, I haven't seen him. He used to come up here to visit when he was living with my brother. My brother and my sister-in-law sent him through high school, and he was coming up here on a regular basis. But since he's got married and he moved to Lafayette, and the way things are expensive, he can't come that regular.
I see. Okay, I have no more questions.
Any other questions? I do note, Mr. Kennedy, in the record, we did hear from your son, Marty.
Yes, ma'am, I didn't know.
And we did, and he's not opposed to your favorable consideration. You just need to be aware of that.
Thank you,
All right.
ma'am.
I don't see any other questions, so I'll ask for the vote. Mr. Tillis?
I'm gonna go ahead and cast my vote right now, man. think he should come home. Man, 70 something years old, 42 years. The man made a bad decision out of anger. It cost him 4 decades of change of his freedom. Um, Taking classes, he's got remorse. If I'm understanding this right, that was his son's mother, uh, who he did that to. His son forgives him as well. So, um, yeah, I say, let him go. Let him go. I vote free.
Uh,
See what the panel thinks.
First time I read a case, I had made a decision, and I see the remorsefulness in you, and I see the hurt in the victims, and it's a difficult choice that I need to make now.
Yes, sir.
My vote is going to be to grant with commutation of sentence.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Franklin?
Mr. Kennedy, this is a tough one because I'm so much against domestic violence, like everybody on this board, and it just kills me to think about. And I hate to use that word, kills me, because that's exactly what we're dealing with right here.
Yes, sir, you're right.
Oh, and when you get life in prison, the victims' families think, okay, we won't have to deal with that. But then, sure enough, they have to come up and have to deal with it. They have to keep coming and testifying things. So, how many years have you served?
43, almost 43.
Okay. And you understand if you get a unanimous vote here, that this just a recommendation that goes to the governor.
Yes, sir, the governor.
Opportunity for him to commute your sentence down to 99 years.
Yes, sir.
Then you still got to go through the parole process.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm gonna concur with Mr. Tillis and vote to grant this, not grant it, but to recommend that you be eligible for parole at 99 years, commute your sentence to 99. I'm having trouble saying it right. Maybe you clean it up.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, it is tough because there's a life that was lost and you have the victims. Then you also have your son who's sitting there and he's unopposed. You served 43 years and now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A long time. You got a great prison record. And it's the only charge on your rap sheet. I mean, even though it's a very, very serious charge, it's the only charge you have. You're taking the classes. I don't think you're a risk to public safety. Today, my vote is going to be to grant and commute your sentence to 99 years.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The recommendation.
And Mr. Kennedy, I do agree. My heart goes out to the Panthanople family.
Yes, ma'am.
My vote today is really based on the information I have that's from your son, Marty. My vote would be likewise to make the recommendation your sentence be commuted to 99 years. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good luck. All right. You did a good job, man.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations to him. I voted for him. I was happy for him. He deserved it. To the next.